Welcome back to the channel, True Crimers. How are we tonight? I know it has been at least a month since I last was on here, and a lot has happened. So, obviously, Roger came home for Christmas, and this was my Christmas gift. You guys have probably seen me post about it on my Instagram, but for those who don't follow me, that is the ring he got me. Really, really beautiful. And I obviously took 4 inches off my hair and dyed it brown. Yeah, so let's get into it. We are breaking away from the regular true crime content to talk about another one of my favorite topics for the next couple of videos. We are going to be talking about movies. For this video, we are going to be talking about the movies that I went and saw in 2021, and 2021 was a good year for movie lovers, I have to admit. So let's dive in. There are 11 movies that I didn't see this year that I went to theaters and saw. So we are going to talk about that. Comment down below what your favorite movie of all time is, and let's get into it. I do want to warn you guys, spoilers are ahead. So if you don't want these movies spoiled for you, then this is your opportunity to click off now. Go. Get out of here. So, the order we're going to be talking about the movies are Eternals, Spiderman No Way Home, Cruella, Halloween Kills, The Forever Purge, A Quiet Place Part 2, Separation, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Mortal Kombat, The Conjuring 3, and The Unholy. So how are we going to do this is I'm going to tell you about the movie. I'm going to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the absolute worst and 10 being the best thing ever. And we are going to do it in the order that I just stated above. So, what are we waiting for? Let's dive right in. So obviously, the first movie is Eternals. Eternals is one of the MCU's, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. If you did not know what that is, newest movies came out in, I believe, I think November. I think it was November. Sorry, I'm tired. It is basically about a race of immortal heroes who have lived on this earth for thousands of years and protected the human race from what they call deviants, which are alien creatures. Some people explain natural events through this, however you want to look at it. Through this journey, they find love, heartbreak, betrayal, and family. They learn a lot of things through this. My ranking of this movie is a 4.5 out of 10. I really like this movie, but it was longer, really, really long, and it was hard for it to hold my interest. I saw the trailer for it, and I thought it was really, really good. And it was a good movie. It just, I felt like the only hype that it ended up getting for it was the end credits scene where Harry Styles was confirmed as part of it. But overall, it was a great movie. I really liked it. But like I said, as a person with ADHD, it just was really hard for it to hold my interest because it was really long and there were really slow moments. But the chemistry between the cast was great. I just really liked it, but I'm hoping to see how the second movie plays out. So, moving on. Second is Spider-Man No Way Home. Before I get into it, I do want to let you know that I have seen this movie at least 3 different times, so if that tells you anything of how it's going to be ranked, then you don't even need to listen to this part. But, so this is, obviously, came out in December of last year, and it is still in theaters, but it's the newest, installment of Spider-Man, so there were 3 movies that kind of deal with, Tom Holland specifically. And it stars Tom Holland, directed by John Watts. It is currently still in theaters and breaking records as we speak. It got 3 gold Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. But damn, it was really good. A quick description of the movie. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, our friendly neighborhood web-slinger is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life as Peter Parker from the high stakes of being a superhero. When Peter asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. And yeah, so like Peter Parker and Doctor Strange team up, which is just an absolutely amazing duo. We saw them in Infinity War, we saw them in Endgame, and now we get to see them again, and I'm super excited to say that the chemistry between the two of them, chef's kiss amazing. So my ranking of this, if you already don't know, 10 out of 10. Probably the only movie on this list that gets that rating. I absolutely love this movie. It's a great cinematic picture. Worth the money to see it. It has a little bit of everything. A little bit of romance, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of sentimental for you Spider-Man fans out there who are like, I don't know, it doesn't pique my interest. Go see it and you'll see why. Definitely worth everything. Every penny. It is worth it to go see it. It's lovingly crafted, well made. The ending sets up for the next Doctor Strange movie. Maybe. So, yeah. The third movie is Cruella. It is a clever twist on the story of the Disney villain that we all know and love, Cruella de Vil. It is directed by Craig Gillespie and stars Emma Stone and Emma Thompson. A quick recap of what the movie is about. Estella is a young and clever grifter who's determined to make a name for herself in the fashion world. She soon meets a pair of thieves who appreciate her appetite for mischief, and together they build a life for themselves on the streets of London. However, when Estella befriends fashion legend Baroness von Hellman, she embraces her wicked side to become the rashest and revenge-bent Cruella. So my ranking of this movie is a 7 out of 10. It was a really good movie. I mean, I really liked the chemistry that the cast had. So it wasn't anything of the acting. It was more of, I felt like the movie was just really slow. Like they spent a long time building up to the climax. And obviously, as you know, when you make it to that peak, you go down to the falling action of the story. She's playing One Direction. Anyway. And that falling action to wrap the movie up was really rushed. So I felt like the movie, them building up to the climax, was really, really slow, and that everything after that was just really rushed and therefore made the ending feel really chaotic to me. Other than that, it was well directed, it was a great piece, everything made sense. From the original 101 Dalmatians, you even get to meet Anita. So, I enjoyed it overall. It just felt chaotic, and which is why it was on a lower scale for me. But I would go watch it if you are definitely into watching Disney villains. It's definitely one of the better movies. So movie number 4, Halloween fans, I'm going to preface this and say, do not come for me. I am a diehard Halloween fan. So movie number 4, Halloween Kills. Is the 12th movie in the franchise and is directed by David Gordon Green. It stars Jamie Lee Curtis and brings back some other characters from previous movies, especially the original. But it picks up where Halloween 2018 left off. Right after Laurie was stabbed and her compound was set on fire. And thus begins the quest to kill Michael Myers for a final time. Will they succeed, or does Michael survive? Obviously, there's another movie being made, so that answers your question right there. My ranking of this movie, and I'm sorry, Halloween fans, I tried to like this movie. I really did. It's a 5 out of 10. Reason I say that, I am a hardcore Halloween fan. I love this movie. And it should have gotten a higher rating on the scale. It really should have. But I absolutely hated the ending of the movie. The ending made no sense to me. I felt like it was really just like wanting to get one final kill in there. It was a good movie overall. There's just a lot of unnecessary gore, blood, deaths that didn't need to happen. If you guys know what scene I'm talking about, it was the one where he basically murdered the entire fire squad. That was a little unnecessary and way overkill for me. And I'm like, I felt like a lot of the deaths in the movie didn't need to happen. And I wish Jamie Lee Curtis had more screen time. Like, that's kind of what I was hoping, was like, that she would be in the center of this. And she just wasn't, and it kind of flopped, and it disappointed me. I watched it several times, trying to see if it was going to be any better, and it wasn't. So, do better with Halloween Ends, because I'm looking forward to see how this franchise is going to end, and I'm going to be really disappointed if it turns out anything like Halloween Kills. Do better. Movie number 5 is The Forever Purge, which is another classic horror movie franchise that I absolutely love. I love the Purge movies. Maybe I just have a thing for horror, but who knows. It is directed by Alvaro Valero Gout and stars Ana de la Rega as our main heroine, which I think is really cool. I'll kind of get into that in a second. A short description of the movie is as follows. Adela and her husband Juan live in Texas, where he works as a ranch hand for the wealthy Tucker family. Juan presses the Tucker patriarch Caleb, but that fuels the jealous anger of his son Dylan. On the morning after the purge, a masked gang of killers attacks the Tuckers, forcing both families to band together and fight back as the country spirals into chaos. Movie ranking, an 8 out of 10. I loved this movie, because while it is part of the Purge franchise, I feel like the directors and the production team took a little more creative liberty, and started moving away from the original events of the other Purge movies, like how the other Purge movies kind of focused on like the things leading up to the Purge and the Purge themselves, or the Purge itself. This movie focuses on the events after the Purge and what would happen if the Purge did happen, but everyone wasn't able to contain their murderous rages. I thought the acting and the chemistry of the cast was great, and made it seem a little more, like, realistic, you know? Like, it struck you, especially in a time where this type of thing, where this country is more divided than ever, it felt really home-hitting to me. And I thought the message and everything was how we just need to band together and prevent things from that happening. So I thought it was great. It was a great movie, which is why I got an 8 out of 10. And moving on, because I don't want to get into anything deeper and then start a raging thing in my comment section. I don't need that. Movie number 6, so we have 5 more movies to go, is A Quiet Place Part 2. It is directed by John Krasinski, the guy from The Office, and he stars in this movie as well. So not only did he direct it, but he starred in it as well. Also stars Emily Blunt and a bunch of other actors and actresses who are extremely talented. A quick description of the movie. Following the deadly events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence. forced to venture into the unknown, they quickly realize that the creatures that hunt by sound are not the only threats that lurk beyond the sandpath. So overall, it picks up right after the original movie, The Quiet Place, that came out a couple of years ago. And they do this like really cool like flashback thing like beforehand and everything. You'd have to watch it so I don't confuse it for you guys. Sadly, this movie did not quite make my list. It got a 3 out of 10 on the ranking. I just didn't like the movie. I just didn't like it. While it was better than the first movie, it was still boring to me. Like, it didn't feel like there was much of a plot line, just people running around, you know? It was hard for me to stay focused. It was well made, but just didn't pique my interest. So, like, it just flopped, in my opinion. The box office may tell me differently, but in my opinion, it just kind of... Number 7, Separation. I was really mad with this movie. I want to tell you that this movie is probably the worst on my scale. I saw this is one where I'm gonna adjust this just a little bit. This is one where the trailer looked really good, but I probably should have read the reviews before I went and saw this movie, because I did not even make it through the entire movie. Like, it was that bad. Like, my boyfriend and I just decided not to finish it because it was so bad. So it says it's about an hour and, like, 45 minutes to 2 hours. We were there for an hour and nothing exciting had happened yet. Other than, like, the death of her mother. But that was basically, like, it. Not saying that someone's death is exciting, but... no, like, anything after that had happened. It was really bad. It was, like I said, I didn't even finish the movie. I only made it about an hour in before I decided that it wasn't worth my money. It was directed by William Brent Bell. A quick description of the movie is, after the death of her mother, a lonely young girl's grandfather sues for custody, and the puppets made by her artist father suddenly come to life. Now, I thought it was really good because of the trailer. Like I said, slowest on my scale, it got a 1 out of 10. So slow, no plotline at all, with just shitty jump scares. It sadly was a waste of my money. If you want something to scare your kids, this movie is for you. If you want something that you think will scare your kids, if they don't like puppets or something, then this movie is for you, but it was not my favorite movie. Obviously, as you can tell, because it got a 1 on the scale. Movie number 8 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now this and Spiderman No Way Home were tied for the number of times I went and saw this movie in theaters. My god, it was so good. So this is the 4th movie in the franchise. So obviously you have Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, I believe Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is the one with Melissa McCartney and Kate McKinnon and everyone. It was directed by Jason Reitman, and it stars McKenna Grace, Finn Wolfhard, Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd, and the original Ghostbusters cast, which, like, made my little heart just, like, explode with joy, because, like, I was so excited for this movie. Quick summary. When a single mother and her 2 children move to a new town, they soon discover they have a connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. My rating of this movie is a 9 out of 10. I love this movie. So I actually grew up watching the Ghostbusters. Growing up, Ghostbusters was one of my favorite movies to watch. I thought it was a great ending to, like, the original movies. while giving them an opportunity to make more movies with the newest cast. The acting and the chemistry between both sets of casts, the new and the old, is absolutely amazing. So, like, I thought it was a great ending for if, like, Bill Murray and all of the guys, the original cast, decided not to come back, the franchise would still be able to carry on without them, which I thought was really, really cool, because they got an ending that was deserved while opening up new doors for the newest cast. So I'm hoping that we get, like, an announcement for another Ghostbusters movie, because I think that would be epic. So, movie number 9, please do not come for me, is Mortal Kombat. I know there are a bunch of other movies out there. This is the only Mortal Kombat movie I've seen. Haven't seen any of the other movies that I can base my opinions on. And, like, I know obviously there's a video game. My boyfriend dragged me to go see this movie, and I'm like, okay, I'll go see this movie with you. And I have to admit, it was really, really good. So it was directed by Simon McQuoid and stars some amazing actors. I feel so stupid. Quick summary of the movie. Hunted by the fearsome warrior Sub-Zero, MMA fighter Cole Young finds sanctuary at the Temple of Lord Raiden. Training with experienced fighters Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and the rogue mercenary Kano, Cole prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions to take on enemies from the outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. So, obviously, it's a 7 out of 10. It was a great movie, and I enjoyed seeing it with my boyfriend, but I am not very knowledgeable on this topic or this franchise, so I just felt so incredibly lost going to see this movie. Like, throughout the whole movie, like, I had to keep asking him what was going on, because I'm like, I don't know. It was wonderfully made, and I really liked it, but it's just not my cup of tea, you know? Like, I did enjoy it, though. Like, I'll admit that to you. Hi, kitty. I have animal visits. I have an animal visitor, so whoop whoop. Giving some kitty love real quick. So movie number 10 is The Conjuring 3, also known as The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It. So, like I've stated twice before in this, I am a huge horror fan. So I'm a huge fan of the Conjuring franchise, so I was super excited to see this movie. And let me tell you, scariest movie in the franchise. By far the scariest movie in the franchise. It is directed by Michael Chaves and has Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga reprising their roles as Ed and Lorraine. A quick description of the movie is paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren take on one of the most sensational cases of their careers after a cop stumbles upon a dazed and bloody young man walking down the road. Accused of murder, the suspect claims demonic possession as his defense, forcing the Warrens into a supernatural inquiry unlike anything they've ever seen before. So yes, this is based on a true case, and I kind of like how they made it, but let's get into my ranking and see what the ranking was. 8 out of 10. I love this movie. It was wonderfully made. But if I had to pick another movie out of the 3 of, the Conjuring movies, this is not my favorite movie. I personally like the original Conjuring better. It had a good plot and the acting was wonderful, but it just didn't compare to the other 2 movies, so it just didn't get a perfect score. If it felt less CGI and less forced, I might have liked it more. But it was still really, really good, and the acting was amazing. So it was just based on personal preference. And that actually brings us to the last movie on the list. Movie number 11 is The Unholy. In my opinion, this movie is basically the spin-off of The Nun. And I don't know how to feel about that. It was really good. They have the innocent girl, the man with the questionable past, and the sidekick or love interest as the main trio, and an evil nun or person in the church as the villain. It is directed by Evan Spiltopoulos, and a quick description of the movie is as follows. A girl inexplicably gains the power to heal the sick after a supposed visitation from the Virgin Mary. As word spreads and people flock to witness her miracles, a disgraced journalist visits the small New England town to investigate. However, when strange events start to occur, he soon wonders if these phenomena are the result of something more sinister.
I had a mini jam, sis.
I could hear you.
I know.
So it got a 4 out of 10. And the reason why is because I see a lot of comparisons to The Nun, and I just kind of thought that they, did a ripoff of it. This movie.
I was pointing at that one, The Conjuring.
Mm-hmm. So, The Nun and The Unholy are very, very similar, and
The Unholy.
If I just had to go with one of those movies, I would obviously pick The Nun. Don't get me wrong, I really liked the movie. I thought it was great. But, the Nun is just better. The acting is good. The casting is great. But it's not my favorite in the movie in the world, so therefore it gets a lower score on the Lindsay scale.
The Lindsay scale?
which is now my system of ranking movies. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of the video. I would love for you guys to tell me what your favorite movie you saw last year, or even what your favorite movie of all time is. Make sure to leave a like, a comment, a subscribe down below. And peace out, homies.
Bye.